Think back to the most embarrassing thing you've ever done. Maybe you tripped on a sidewalk, said something totally wrong in a meeting, or had a huge stain on your shirt all day. You felt like every single person was staring, judging, and replaying that moment in their minds. You were convinced you were the center of attention. Here's the shocking truth. Almost nobody even noticed. And if they did, they probably forgot about it a second later. What you experienced is one of the most powerful and fascinating psychological phenomena out there. It's called the spotlight effect, and it's the reason we feel watched and judged even when we're not. So why does this happen? And what can we do to stop it from controlling us? Stick around to the very end, because the most important piece of this puzzle, a surprising trick to instantly reduce your social anxiety, is coming up. So what is the spotlight effect? It's our brain's sneaky little trick. A cognitive bias that makes us believe we are being noticed far more than we actually are. The world revolves around us, at least in our own heads. We are the main character in our movie, and that makes us assume everyone else is watching our every move. It's like carrying a personal, invisible spotlight that we shine on ourselves. But in reality, everyone else is too busy shining their own spotlight on themselves to notice ours. We're all the star of our own show, and that's a key part of this whole mystery. Don't go anywhere, because we're about to dive into the two big psychological reasons this happens. You won't want to miss the hidden reason behind your anxiety that almost nobody talks about. First, let's talk about egocentrism. It's not the same as being selfish. In psychology, egocentrism is simply our natural tendency to focus on our own perspective. We have access to all our thoughts, all our mistakes, and all our feelings. We are intimately aware of that awkward thing we said 5 minutes ago, or that one detail we think everyone noticed. Other people don't have that access. They don't know what we're thinking or what we're stressing about. This egocentric bias creates a huge gap between how we perceive ourselves and how others perceive us. Our internal experience becomes our external reality. But that's just the first layer. The next part of this is even more interesting, and it involves a concept called anchoring and adjustment. For the full picture, you have to keep watching. The next section will totally change how you think about your next social interaction. So what's anchoring and adjustment? Our brains use mental shortcuts to make sense of the world. With the spotlight effect, our own feelings are the anchor. That feeling of being embarrassed or insecure is so strong that we use it as the starting point for our judgments. Then, we adjust from that point, but we don't adjust enough. We're so convinced of our own flaws that we assume everyone else is just as focused on them. This is the 1-2 punch of egocentrism and anchoring that keeps us trapped in a cycle of overthinking. You're probably already thinking of a time this happened to you. Share it in the comments, and you'll find out you're definitely not alone. The community here is incredible, and we'll be sharing some of the best stories later in this video. So stick around to see if your story made the cut. Think about it this way. When you're walking into a room, you're not scanning everyone's outfits for flaws. You're probably thinking about what you're going to say, if you look okay, or what you're going to order. Everyone else is doing the exact same thing. They're preoccupied with their own lives, their own inner monologue, their own insecurities. That's why the spotlight effect is so powerful. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of how the human mind works. It's not a character flaw. It's a basic part of our wiring. But understanding it is the first step to overcoming it. And the next tip is the one that really helps you take back control. The rest of this video is going to give you the most powerful tools you've ever learned for dealing with this. So you can't click away now. So how can we fight back against the spotlight effect? The good news is, you can. The first thing you need to do is a quick reality check. When you feel that wave of anxiety and feel like all eyes are on you, simply stop and ask yourself, what are the odds that people are actually paying attention to this? Try to think from their perspective. Are they really focused on the small detail you're agonizing over? Or are they lost in their own world? The answer is almost always the latter. This simple act of reframing can be incredibly powerful. It forces your brain to break its automatic egocentric pattern. And remember, each time you do this, you're training your mind to be more realistic, more compassionate towards yourself, and less reactive to imagined judgment. But the next strategy is even better, and it's a game changer for anyone who struggles with this. The second powerful technique is intentional observation. Instead of focusing on yourself, intentionally turn your attention outward. When you're in a social situation, actively observe others. Look at the room, notice conversations happening around you. Pay attention to the details of people's clothing or expressions. The goal isn't to be a creep. It's to shift your mental focus. When you're busy observing the world around you, you can't be hyper-focused on yourself. This is an active way to combat your egocentrism. You'll quickly realize that everyone is just living their lives, not watching yours. Over time, this simple habit creates a sense of liberation, a mental space where your anxiety no longer rules the room. And the next time you practice it, notice how liberating it feels, like stepping out of a mental cage and into freedom. And that's a concept called the illusion of transparency. This is the sibling of the spotlight effect. It's the mistaken belief that our internal emotional states are transparent to others. We think our anxiety, our embarrassment, or our awkwardness is totally visible on our face or in our body language. We feel that everyone can see exactly how we're feeling. But just like with the spotlight effect, this is an illusion. We are much better at hiding our emotions than we think. Think about a time you tried to hide a surprise party. You were probably convinced your excitement was written all over your face. But did the person you were surprising notice? Probably not. We are so much more opaque than we realize. Recognizing this illusion is liberating. It reminds you that your inner turmoil is mostly invisible to others, giving you a new sense of freedom. And it's not just freedom, it's empowerment. Because understanding this allows you to take risks, make mistakes, and still move forward without fear. So, here's the ultimate trick to instantly combat the spotlight effect. It's so simple, you might not believe it works. The next time you feel that creeping feeling of being watched or judged, do something kind for someone else. It could be as simple as holding a door open, offering a genuine compliment, or asking someone a question about themselves. Why does this work so well? Because it forces you to shift your focus entirely away from yourself. It breaks the cycle of self-obsession and replaces it with an outward, positive action. It's a powerful pattern disruptor. By focusing on someone else's well-being, you instantly get out of your own head. This isn't just a feel-good tip. It's a clinically proven way to reduce anxiety. It rewires your brain to see connection rather than fear judgment. And here's the surprise I promised you. The absolute biggest secret to overcoming the spotlight effect is this: embrace your imperfections. This isn't just about accepting yourself. It's about owning your quirks, your mistakes, and your little embarrassments. When you truly accept that it's okay to not be perfect, the fear of judgment loses its power. You can't be afraid of what you've already accepted. The next time you trip, laugh it off. The next time you say something awkward, own it. When you stop taking yourself so seriously, you realize that the world isn't either. Every stumble, every awkward moment becomes a tiny victory rather than a source of shame. And here's a bonus insight. When you embrace your imperfections openly, you often inspire others to do the same. This creates a ripple effect of authenticity and courage that can transform not just your life, but the lives of everyone around you. This is the key to true freedom. It's the final piece of the puzzle that makes all the other tips stick. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps you feel a little less watched and a little more free. If you liked this video, you'll love my next one on why we procrastinate. Make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on so you don't miss it. What's the one thing you're going to do to fight the spotlight effect? Let me know in the comments below, and let's normalize being imperfect together.